I've been thinking a lot about being a sponge.
But Sarah, you're not a sponge, you're a person.
It's a metaphor, just go with me on this for a second. The way I see it, there are two general types of people in the world. There are sponges and there are hoses, and I am most definitely a sponge. What does that mean? Well, people that are sponges to me are people that take in information and retain information really well just by absorbing it, by sitting there and absorbing it, and they enjoy doing that. And then when called upon, they can take that information and you can squeeze it back out of them and they can kind of regurgitate it and maybe comment on a few things here and there, but they are good at just kind of retaining and then giving back the information. And that's definitely me. And people that are like that, I feel, really excel in a kind of classroom or school environment, which I always loved school and I always was really good at school. Like, I was good at doing school. Not necessarily that I was the smartest of anybody ever, but I kind of knew how to do school and that was a good type of environment for me to excel. People that don't excel in school are hoses. At least not always, because hoses are people that need to put something out into their environment. They need to throw their thoughts out there. They're full of thoughts and they need to bounce them off of other people, and they come up with a lot of original ideas and they need to put them out there and then get feedback in that way. They don't excel when they're just asked to absorb what other people have already thought of and then spit it back out, like in an essay or on a test, which sponges are really good at doing. Hoses have a tendency to kind of disrupt conversations or just need to kind of hear their own voice a lot, which is fine and is actually really, really good in a work environment. When you're asked to go from a school environment to a work environment, you're asked to go from being a passive learner to being an active person that has great ideas all the time and needs to bounce them off of other people and talk to a team and finagle things like people and have just constantly be having ideas. And that's what gets you ahead in the workplace, is being able to spurt out that kind of stuff. So people that didn't do well in school because they were a hose now excel in the workplace because that is valued in a lot of workplaces, having that kind of personality. Which is why I've been thinking about it, because I always loved school and I'm finding in a lot of different work settings, I don't know, it's not really like what my personality is suited to. And being someone that does well in school doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be someone that does really well in the workplace. Just like how doing poorly in school doesn't mean that you're going to do poorly in the workplace. It all depends on what type of job you have. That being said, you can kind of say that maybe sponges are introverts and hoses are extroverts, but I don't think it really correlates completely, because I think people like authors are hoses. People like authors are kind of stereotyped as being introverts because they sit by themselves and they work by themselves and they're very introspective and things like that. But I think authors are hoses because they take information that they created themselves and they put it out into the world in order to get the feedback. So it came straight from them and they put it out for you to read and you absorb it. So you are a sponge when you are reading a book, but they are a hose when they are giving you that book. So I think that authors are definitely hoses, but I think in general that I am a sponge. And I think maybe internet people are sponges, but it's weird because YouTube, in essence, is a very hose-like thing to do. And I do YouTube, so I'm thinking maybe I'm a sponge with hose tendencies? I don't know. What about you guys? Are you a sponge or are you a hose? Let me know in the comments below, thinking about this type of personality juxtaposition, which one you think you are and how that affects your life. Does it affect your schoolwork? Does it affect your job? Anything like that. I'm really, really interested to know, what the general consensus on this is. It was great seeing you guys. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.